Two types of customers walk through the door. One has an ad deal and the other one doesn't know anything about the product. But what do? Do you give them a different type of treatment? Or do you stick to your process? That's what this video is about. Process is the most important thing after your mindset and presentation are on point. Every single customer needs to be treated with the exact same process. The second that you shortcut your process is the second that you shortcut your paycheck. Process makes progression. Progression being the end result, a sale. Let's dive into a little bit about process and what does that mean? What is a process? Do you have one? Do you need one? Should you learn one? Well, process is a dedicated way of doing business for you. And it also coincides with the industry that you're in. Now let's go back to the basics. You have your meet and greet, you have your walk around, you have your test drive, you have your presenting of numbers, your negotiations, and then writing the deal. But is it just that black and white? Absolutely not. It's nowhere near that black and white. Without a process, you strictly have nothing, okay? Because you're gonna deviate, you're gonna bounce around, you're gonna miss things that are very important to solidifying the sale. Let me be very clear, solidifying the sale. You cannot do that without having a strict process. Sticking to your guns, no matter who the customer is in front of you, and making sure that you go ABC 1, 2, 3 with every single customer is going to guarantee you a higher percentage of closing than if you do not. Let's start with the meet and greet. We already covered that. It came down to your mindset and your presentation. If you got that on point, great. Now let's do the walk around. Why is that important? Why is it still important when a customer comes in and says, well, I already saw the car, I was over at, your competitor, they showed me everything. Why is it important that you still show them the vehicle on your time in your arena? It's important because the guy who probably did it before you doesn't know what he's doing or doesn't do it just as good. So you need to set the standard. You need to show them how world-class walkarounds are done. While you're doing all this, figuring out what kind of customer do you have in front of you? Do you have a family shopper? Do they have kids and a wife? Because if they do, the walkaround needs to be strictly about the safety and the convenience of that vehicle. How many airbags does the vehicle have? What kind of hands-free technology is going to allow them to keep their eyes on the road? These are things that matter. If you have a young customer, what kind of features are they looking for? Performance. Do you know the horsepower of the vehicle? Do you know the torque of the vehicle? Things like this matter. And when you're doing the walk around, how you find these things out is by talking to your customer. Another key thing to your process, having open lines of communication is really key because it allows you to go the extra step and find out a little bit more of what kind of buyer is in front of you. If you don't care to ask, they're not gonna care to tell. And people know when you care. People know when you're going out of way to get to know them. And the more you know about customers, the better off you're gonna be when trying to close that sale, trying to give those rebuttals and answer. Think about it. If you don't know what kind of disposition they're in and why they're trying to buy a car, how can you put them into a position to buy one? How can you argue why they should? Why you shouldn't give them a business card and let them walk out? Why you shouldn't call them in 3 weeks? Why it's important that they buy today? And now let's stop into the whole test drive arena. It's very different now because of COVID. We're not allowed in the car with them, right? So now they're going out and they're test driving the car, and that was usually the most vulnerable spot you could have had the customer in, because it allowed you to ask questions that they weren't prepared for, or their mind was set on something that was much more important, like not crashing the car. So therefore triggering very easy on answering those questions that you're asking them, like, hey, what are you paying right now on your vehicle? How did you hear about us? What are you looking to do today? Things like that. No longer available to you because of COVID and their restrictions. How do we figure out different ways to go about this now that we've lost the ability to do a test drive with the customer? Well, it's very simple. You adapt. For instance, Mr. Customer, I know you had a really good ride. How was it? Yeah, it was all right. It was okay. It was all right. Now we jump into the safety of the vehicle. Now we jump into the J.D. Power & Associates ratings of the vehicle. Now we jump into your experience with the vehicle, how you drive the vehicle. what you think of the car, why it's important for them. And then it's over. Now you got them unlocked. So now they drove the vehicle. Now you're sitting down with them and it's time to present the numbers. Presenting the numbers should not be taking place anywhere before 45 minutes to an hour of your time with that customer. The reason why I say this is there's absolutely nothing holding that customer from jumping out that front door, asking for a business card and saying, see you later, if they haven't spent a serious amount of time with you. And 45 minutes to an hour is actually lowballing it. What you should be doing is spending at least an hour with the customer before you even have the audacity of giving them numbers. And why do I say that? Well, because this is a very personal experience. This is a very big purchase. And if you haven't given them at least that much time, they shouldn't be giving you the sale. Rushing to the numbers, rushing through the test drive, not doing a walk around, skipping your process completely is only gonna give the customer more of a reason to go to the next guy. Mediocrity will not get you a sale these days. It will not. And why? Because everybody is doing it. You have to be different. You have to understand that these things in the car business are so crucial to getting yourself the sale. And let's dive into this a little bit more, right? Let's take this out of perspective of the car business and let's just jump into something as black and white as Best Buy, right? An electronics superstore. You walk into the electronics superstore and you see a price tag on a brand new flat screen TV and it says $8,000. It's 75 inches, 85 inches, whatever. And around them is different models that are, $3,000, $2,000, $500, $650, you name it. They're all lower price points. This TV happens to be an LG, probably one of the best TVs out there, rated by CES as the #1 television to come out in 2021. Take the logo off. Okay? Take the logo off and see if anybody pays $8,000 for it. See if anybody even looks in that direction if it has no LG logo. Nobody. Because it's just a price on a piece of metal. And that's exactly why you need to be very dialed in when giving your walk around, talking to your customer, talking about your product. Listen, Chevy, Toyota, Hyundai, Honda, they're all the same. They're all the same. In a nutshell, it's a vehicle to get you from point A to B. But what makes you different? What makes that television different? Why are you asking the price point that you're asking? You have to give reason for it. You have to invest in your product with the customer to make them understand why you are asking $399, $499, $599 a month on a lease, or $35,000, $40,000, or $45,000 on a purchase. The more you put into showing these customers why your product yields that price point, the more easy it is for a customer to understand and give you their money. And this goes hand in hand with your process, because during your process, your meet and greet, your walk around, your test drive, you're presenting numbers, you are talking about all of those things and in turn listening to what the customer's desires are. So now, you spent all this time, right? You got the customer to say yes. Congratulations. Okay? What are you doing next? Some salesmen are taking a deposit and saying, hey, car's not here, we'll see you on Thursday. It's now Saturday. Customer goes, oh, okay. Well, what do I need to do? Well, you just give us a deposit and we'll call you when the car is here and we'll schedule a delivery. You'll sit down with the finance manager. That is what's happening in the car business, and it's seriously scary. The second that your customer says yes, you know what you do? You pull out a buyer's order, you have them sign it, and you look at them and you go, who are we registering the car to? And you get insurance. Why? Why are we getting insurance? There's so many other customers out there. We need to grab another up. We need to sell another car. Why am I gonna stop and get insurance, the salesman asks. I got money to make, bills to pay. Because this customer is now your customer for life. And that's the ideology that you need to adapt to. In 3 years, they're gonna be your retaining customer. They're going to give you unfound money. While you're taking ups, that customer's gonna call you and say, hey, I'm due for another car. I want another one from you because you were so damn good at what you did the first time around. It's so important to understand this. So now you give them the world-class treatment. You get them the insurance. You solidify the sale that much more. You look at them and you say, Now, based on our agreement, you were putting $2,000 down. Do you want to leave it on the card that you gave me for your offer? And they look at you and they go, yes, I would. Well, here's Geico. The representative is on the phone. I just need you to okay it so I can make these changes for you. Mr. Customer, I want you to understand something. And I want you to feel the pain of this process. I want you to be able to go home and enjoy your weekend. Can I get you a bottle of water while you're on the phone? These are the things that differentiate between you and average Joe. These are the things that you need to implement into your process in order to higher your closing ratio. These are the things that we easily forget because, like I've said before, we are lazy. We are lazy and complacent with what we're doing every single day, and we find ways to do it quicker so the money is faster and money is easier, but they don't realize you're shooting yourself in the foot. You need to stick to the basics. Stick to your process. Do everything that you do every single time. No cutting corners, no making things quicker, no being lazy. Give the customer the world-class treatment. Listen to your customer as they speak. Dial in to that customer and know that this customer is your lifetime customer. That it's the business, it is the dealership's lifetime customer. And it is in your best interest to make sure that this experience that they have is compared to none. That is the best experience that they'll talk about at their barbecues, that they'll call their friends and family about, that they won't walk away from because you were so damn good. Sticking to your process, making sure you have a perfect mindset and presentation before that will get you on the road to the sale. Deviating, cutting corners, it will not. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Next week, we're gonna go over negotiations, all the semantics, back and forth with the customer, the mindset, the psychology behind it. And we'll dive into that. Again, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.
I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain